Hello, and welcome back to the ministry. And today we are talking about transition. I've been in the presence of the Lord a little bit, and in my time with the presence of the Lord, He kind of showed me that with transition, there are certain things in which you have to let go of. As you grow, there are people, places, and things that must be released because they no longer serve where you're going. And this can be one of the hardest lessons that anyone can learn in the process of shifting seasons. Because the people that you had in your season, and some of these people are people that you would never think that you would ever have to let go of. Some of it's parents, some of it's your bestie. I remember one time, it was one season, I had just told this friend of mine, girl, I got you. I'm not that type of person. I am not. I got you. I'm always going to be there for you. I got you, girl. God said, your season just changed. And because your season just changed, you can't be connected to this person. At least not in this season. And for a long time, I could not talk to that person. I've spoken to them a couple of times since. But I'm trying to gauge where that relationship is now. And are they allowed to know where I'm going next? Because let me tell you, where I'm going next, a lot of people don't know where I'm at. And the question before the court is, who has the right to be able to handle going where I'm going? Are their heart posture in the right place? Because a lot of times what happens to us, and I was speaking about this in my word, I think it was freshman part 2. And I talked about you got to be careful. It's either freshman part 2 or the word right after freshman part 2. But you have to be careful of the people, because the very people that you think are your allies in one season, God will literally turn those people into your enemies. He will make your enemies your footstools. And because your enemies were your footstools, you thought they were friends. But He only allowed them to be that close to you because He needed to use them for something in that season. But once their usefulness was no longer necessary, their mood and emotion will literally turn on you. Just that quick. And God has to allow it to happen like that because He will tell you, I need you to let that person go. And sometimes it's like, but we're good, we're cool, we want it. And God is trying to say, I need you to let him go, because that's the one that's going to stab you in the back. But He slowly begins to make them change their heart towards you. When I see a person's season has expired, I spoke about this before in a word a while back. You have to allow those people to relieve you. But as you elevate and you grow and you become more bold and you become more confident, watch the people that rise up against you when you become more bold and confident. I was praying about this for somebody this morning. You must observe who's being exposed, because they're weak links to you. These are the same people that will turn around and stab you in the back. And even if they look like they was your bestie, that's the one that's most dangerous, because that's the one that you are gonna hold closest to. Your mom, your dad. And some of them, they got the characteristic. And God will show you that person has the character. But because they your mom or your dad, or they that friend that always slyly has been talking about. I told you before about the gaslighting and the victimhood and the trauma and the negative compliments. These people will literally kill you. And I must make a correction. I did a video where I was talking about this Shaquilla situation, the Shaquilla Robinson. I said her name was Shaquilla Jackson. It wasn't because it was Shaquilla Jackson. I was confusing the Shaquilla Robinson with the person that did the crime to her, which was her friend that traveled with them, whose last name was Jackson. And since we're here, let me say this. In that scenario, you have to have a certain gumption about yourself that you will be with a group of people, that the group of you will batter somebody like that, and then you will come back home and you will go to that person's parent and act like everything is cool, like we're going to figure out what happened and so on and so forth. Sounds a lot like what happened with Joseph, right? The brothers came back with his coat and were like, hey, Dad, we don't know what happened to him. And the father's sitting there mourning. And they know exactly what they did. In a transitionary season, let the Lord show you who you need to get rid of. Let him expose them. Grieve the relationship, but release and let go. Because that's only delaying you from being able to receive and to walk into the things that the Lord is trying to get you into in this season. And nobody got no time to be delayed because we holding on to the Saul that God already told you he has moved past. And remember, when he told Samuel, I have released Saul. What I need you to do is I need you to go anoint David and anoint your replacement. Because if you do not let them go, God can't use you either. Because your emotions are too much in that scenario. Allow the Lord to transition the people that need to come out in this season. Because you will be better for it in the season that you are going to come up in next. Because it's those very people, if you hold on to them, and God sometimes will not even let you get into that next season because he knows what they're going to do to you. They will be the number one person to stab you in the back. Because when you get there, if he lets them pass, they are going to be your Judas. They are going to destroy you because they're far too close. Think very closely about that. Observe your surroundings. See who is dishonoring you in the season and let them go with love, because it's time for you to cross over. Until next time, bye-bye.